We're live.
We're live. Welcome back. Julio here with Bob and Eddie.
How you doing?
And we're talking World Series, Game 7 tonight.
Yep.
It's been 26,000 days since the since the Indians won, and 46,000 days since the Cubs won a World Series.
That's a lot of days.
That's a lot of days. You know,
That's a lot of
one
days.
of them, I'll tell you what was kind
One
of
of them's going to have to wait 365 more.
Yep. Or longer.
And it'll make this moment that much even more intense. Maybe they should hope they lose so they can build up their...
I don't think so.
If y'all want to find him, it's Julio Sarmiento. It's easy to find, all right? There's only one. Send all your hate mail to him if you're a fan of either.
I'm just saying, it's kind of interesting. One World Series, I think in 1945, excuse me, 1948, the Indians clinched it on October 11th. And in 1908, the Cubs won the World Series on October 14th. And here we are, November
1st, still playing baseball.
November
2nd.
2nd.
Still playing baseball.
Yeah, there wasn't quite as many teams back then. In 1908.
Right.
And they didn't have a lot of TV breaks.
Yeah, I don't believe they did have any TV breaks back then. TV wasn't invented. No, sir.
TV.
They maybe had a radio break.
A little bit of radio.
Maybe. But here we are. What do you got? Still the Cubs.
Cubs. I said it the first half of the show.
They're going to win it early? Or are we sticking by if the Indians take the lead and they're leading in the 6th, things look bad for the Cubs?
I know that the Indians have not lost a game when they've been leading from the 5th inning on. But I've said this since day one. It's the Cubs' year. I don't know how they're going to win it, but the Cubs are going to win it.
Eddie?
I'm going to stay with the Cubs. I think they're going to win, but I think in order for them to win, I would not be surprised if the Indians won. But I picked the Cubs, so I'm going to stay with them. I'm not going to switch midstream. But it would not surprise me if the Indians won. I think the first team that scores probably wins. And I say that because I think the pressure then will be on everybody else to try to do too much. And they'll be trying to hit long balls, they'll be trying to hit home runs. And you don't... Can
the Indians find the offense?
That's a good question. And that's, you can't just rely on Francisco Lindor and Kipnis and... To carry you, I don't think. And I know there's other guys who hit home runs, and there's been some good base hits, but I just think they have not had a total team effort when it comes to offense. They're ahead in the series, so obviously they scored some runs.
Right.
But it hasn't impressed me the way when Chicago,
isn't that what the Cubs
lights it up.
They have 5 guys.
Yeah.
With granted, Addison Russell hits a grand slam last night.
Right.
And drives in 6, by the way.
And the one thing I was going to say was, and Eddie made a good point that was made on one of the broadcasts, I don't think you need to try and be a hero. I think the team that just goes out and does their job, and you don't have people trying to be on ESPN or national television. They're already on national television, but you see, Baez is the guy that sticks in my brain, who always seems like he's swinging for the fences. And how many outside...
They throw him a strike. I don't see why they throw him a strike.
I would never throw
exactly.
Baez
Why you throw him a strike?
I just throw him sliders away until he strikes out in 3 of them because he doesn't have the patience to wait.
And he swings at balls Vladimir Guerrero couldn't have hit. I mean, it's like they're this far outside.
But that double play he made last night.
Oh man,
in the 8th, I don't care if he doesn't hit a lick. That right there saved you 2 runs and maybe the game. I mean, at that point, momentum gets building in the park, and I think that's why it's important if the Indians score first, then the momentum, the crowd gets into it, they get a little raucous, they get a little rolling, and suddenly the Cubs start feeling the pressure, and oh no, this ain't in our year.
What does that do to a team? You get down 2-1, 3-1, and you see Andrew Miller. Psychologically, you think they're still in it?
I think that when you see Andrew Miller come to the mound, I think you probably need to think, uh-oh.
And so leads back to
if you're a Major League Baseball player, you're not feeling that way. If you're a Major League Baseball player, I don't care if you got struck out 9 times in a row.
You still think
you're going to get a hit on the 10th one. You're like, okay, the odds are in my favor. I'm a 300 hitter lifetime against I'm a 200 hitter lifetime against everybody. Against the best, I'm going to be a 100 hitter. So I'm due a hit on this time. But the truth is that if you're not disciplined at the plate, and especially in the postseason, you try to do too much. You try to get the extra base hit when you should just get a single. And I tell you, the best at bat I saw was just a soft little line drive on a 2-strike count, and he didn't try to do too much. Just softly served it out there.
I saw that from Tomlin yesterday, and it's funny because we start looking about doing too much from the hitting perspective. You know, trying to hit the 5-run homer or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty impossible.
But Tomlin was up 0-2 or 1-2, and he tried to make the perfect pitch instead of doing what he had been doing to get to where he was. And I think pitchers wind up having a tendency to do that as well.
Sure.
Is do too much. I mean, just.
And I didn't watch all the game last night. So was Joe West? He was behind the plate. Was his strike zone tight?
It was high.
It was high.
He was given. I mean, you had that strike right there.
But was it? But
long.
Outside, where he wasn't giving out or
He was
in?
right on the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit maybe outside.
Because I know there was some discussion about that in the late innings, and that was a great response by the catcher for the Cubbies to run out there and, I think it was the Cubbies, and get their guy before he got run. Because he was about to get run from West.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, but he had a high strike zone.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, it was getting called high.
So what about you? Who do you think wins?
It's hard to, it is hard to beat the Indians 3 in a row with 2 of those coming in Cleveland. And it's surprising, that it did go a Game 7. I think that's what's exciting. And it brings, all that drama and everything couldn't end better than a Game 7. But I told you, I thought Cleveland's bullpen with a lead is something the Cubs can't overcome.
But they got to get the lead.
They've shown they can't do it 3 times. And will they get the lead?
Yeah.
And I think with Kluber in there, I think that's the best chance for them to get the lead in the first 5 or 6 innings.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I think the Indians take it.
The flip side of that, though, is a lot of times when you have a guy pitch 3 times in a series, the 3rd time is not very good.
Right, because they're used to seeing it.
They've seen him a lot. They've seen every one of his pitches in pretty close proximity to one another. And you don't usually see that. You usually face a guy once, and then you don't see him for a month,
months, yeah.
and then or 2 months down the road. And now you're seeing this guy 3 times in the span of a week.
His stuff wasn't as good the second time out, which now all of a sudden do you pitch like you do at home, like you did in Game 1? He was
unhittable in Game 1.
I'd rather come in saying, "Hey, I've done really well," than Hendricks, who,
didn't do so well
didn't
last
do
time.
as well, and then you're sitting there. Hey, I want to see that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have some tough times. But if you're getting paid that much money, you're wanting to bat. You're wanting to go up there and face.
And
Cleveland.
Hendricks is a major league. Hendricks can go
on.
on. Hendricks can go out there. Look what he did in the NLCS.
You never know. It's going to be a great game tonight. Well, I hope you guys will watch that. We're going to.
You had one more thing to add.
No, it's fine. I mean, really, all the people that wrote in last week, everyone who picked Cleveland said it for the same reason you just did. Their bullpen. Everybody felt Cleveland was going to win because of their bullpen.
As a starting,
We'll
I mean,
it does help, but you know what? If your starting pitcher is good enough, you don't need a bullpen.
Exactly right.
And they haven't been so far. And I that's what I've been surprised that the Cubs won with the effort their starting pitchers are giving them, really, because no one's really gone deep.
No.
So they've managed to cobble it together.
It's been the World Series of the don't let your pitcher go deep, regardless of how good he's doing.
Yeah, they've pulled them a lot.
They've been pulling those guys.
They've been pulling. So it's an interesting time. We're going to talk for the next few minutes about something that is totally not about Major League Baseball. We live in Florida. We live in Gainesville, and a little town, hour and a half from us, about 85 miles.
Where there was a good football game this past
There
week.
was a good football game. If you're a Gator fan, if you're a Bulldog fan, well, get used to it. All right, so Jacksonville has a minor league baseball team.
Southern League, Double A.
Double A team.
Marlins affiliate.
Marlins affiliate. And they just came out today, at 10 o'clock today, they released a great marketing tool to release it on today that they're changing the name of the team. It was the Jacksonville Suns. It has been for years, since 1962, with a
There was a couple years they were the Jaxpos when they were the Jacksonville Expos.
But other than that, they've been the Jacksonville Suns since 1962. And they have changed their name. They have a new owner. And they have changed their name officially to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
I like it. What?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I can't help but laugh whenever I hear that. The
It's
jumbo
hilarious.
shrimp.
It's like,
are you serious that of all the names that your marketing firm could come up with, the jumbo shrimp is the one that got the top? What got disqualified?
The J. What?
What were the other options that didn't make the
You want to
cut?
be different. You want to be unique. You want to have a logo that people go out and buy. Do you know how many fishermen there are looking for a brand new little cap? With some
None.
bait
Zero.
on it?
Not with a Jacksonville Sun.
A little J shrimp.
The I mean, it's a cool looking logo, but come on. Are you
jumbo
serious?
shrimp?
The jumbo shrimp. Here's the shrimp.
You can sit there before the game, bring out your VIPs, have a seafood buffet.
You can't eat your own team. That's like cannibal.
Well, then serve popcorn shrimp and let the jumbo shrimp eat them up.
Oh my gosh! Can you believe it? We're gonna have Bubba Gump throw out the first pitch,
Yes.
and whenever the ball's in the gap, lined in the gap, can we train the fans to say, "Oh, run, Forrest, run"? Is
No
Bubba Gump
disrespect.
Shrimp Company going to be the prime sponsor?
It should be.
They ought to. I mean, if they're not, by the way, if you're marketing for Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, you ought to be on this today. You ought to be the corporate sponsor because you can have jumbo shrimp and fried shrimp and boiled shrimp and shrimp po' boys. I mean, can you imagine when the Montgomery team comes to play? The Montgomery Biscuits versus the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Do you think in some little town in Alabama a few years ago, their little podcast show, they were cracking up on biscuits?
Absolutely. I've had people that play for the Biscuits. I've talked to guys, and they're like, it's embarrassing to play for the Biscuits.
For the biscuits?
Yes, because the logo is named Butter.
are you serious?
I think so.
What's their logo guy? We should come up with the name for them and suggest it. What can
Jimbo?
that big
Jimbo the Jumbo Shrimp?
No, we're not naming anything Jimbo.
No.
Not here.
Well, come on. I mean, that's the best thing we could do.
Jimbo's an idiot.
Well, but yeah, I know. That's why we
Can you
call
see
him
the
Jimbo the Jumbo
headlines in
Shrimp.
the sports pages? You know, shrimp stink it up, or it's like whatever. I mean, it's a sports writer's dream to have a name like that. I mean,
It smells like
You guys
somebody
just-
forgot to wash the
exactly.
net.
It's disgusting.
You guys are bad.
I'm sorry.
We didn't pick the name.
I didn't pick it.
He just told me about it.
The
Told us
manager-
about it.
the owner is a 36-year-old guy who also owns the Akron franchise that renamed them from the Akron Arrow to the Akron Rubber Duck.
Squeak, squeak. I mean, it's like,
Attendance went up 17% in the first 3 years, though. So maybe he knows
Knows what
something
he's
that we
doing.
don't know.
That's what you do. And do you know how many? I'll tell you. And I just want to. Were you in Jacksonville this weekend?
I was not. No, I didn't
Okay,
go.
I was there.
I've been there several times.
I didn't see any. None. Zero. Jacksonville Sun caps.
Did you see any Jacksonville shrimp camps?
No, because they weren't out yet.
announced it
But I
10
get
o'clock.
this weekend I'm there, Navy Notre Dame, and I bet you I'll see. Well, I don't know if they got merchandise out yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you
but
know they got merchandise out.
Then watch how much they sell. I will come in next week's report. How many Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp caps
You should
did
buy
I
one and wear on the
see?
show.
I'll wear one next week.
I'll take the under 50.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
but there'll be
Because
somebody with
It's
one.
baseball season. No
It's
wonder
Notre
it's
Dame.
football. It's football season. No wonder.
It's
Nobody
Notre-
from Notre Dame is
it's
going to
Notre
buy a
Dame.
Jacksonville shrimp hat.
Fridays, when they can't eat meat, they're going to be big Jumbo Shrimp fans.
That's only in the springtime.
Oh, is that only for
It's
Lent?
only after Lent.
Oh.
It's only for Lent. Not now.
What about the midshipmen? They hang out with the shrimp.
they?
They do. They're in submarines and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly right. They're under the
I
water.
don't think that they're going to want to buy the stuff.
They're going
I
to get
think they prefer the Navy insignia.
I think the Navy midshipmen
Why are
will
Navy
come into
and Notre
town
Dame playing
and
here in
clean the
Jacksonville anyway?
stores.
clean the store.
They're cleaning the stores of the shrimp.
They will clean the stores of all the shrimp.
It won't take
merchandise.
much. It'll be a small task.
We'll see.
Shrimp.
It's not.
Jumbo
It's
shrimp.
not popcorn shrimp. It's jumbo shrimp. It's
But
not a
jumbo
small
shrimp
task.
is an
It's a
oxymoron.
jumbo. It's a jumbo.
It's an
task.
oxymoron.
No.
Jumbo shrimp. It's the same thing
Painful.
as naval intelligence.
That's that's like what was it? A slight groin injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
That's just not going to happen. Well, anyway, if you're a fan of Jacksonville Suns, great.
What
if
do you
you're,
think? Let us
if
know.
you don't have a Jacksonville Sun anymore, so you now have to be a fan of the Jacksonville Jumbo.
We killed 4 minutes on that.
Well, we could kill more because there's a whole lot of the whole
Are
comedy
they wearing
routine.
pink jerseys? I mean,
No, it's not pink, but
Red.
it's red. It's
Red?
red and blue.
Red
Red,
and blue?
with American red and victory blue or something. I mean, it says it has all the colors and schemes on in the article. Go to the Jacksonville Sun today. You can read about it.
And next week, I will have it. If they are there, I will have it.
Play ball and watch the game tonight. Game 7. We'll see you next week to talk about who won.
Cubs.